Okay, so formula sheets are at the top covering everything that we work through each of the sections, but put at the top so they're easiest to find, etc. So now I'm just going to review all of the sections that we did below. So 2 divided by 4. If I want to simplify a fraction, I just simply divide the top and bottom by 2. Obviously, check your answer on the calculator. Make sure that you did that correctly. And expanding, taking a fraction like 1/2 and multiplying the top and bottom by 2. And again, check the answer on the calculator, but all the same. Multiplying the fractions, 1/2 times 1/3, simply multiplying the tops and multiplying the bottoms. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. And again, check your answer on your calculator. Dividing fractions, 1/4 divided by 2/3. So we take the first fraction and we flip the second fraction and change to multiply. Then do the same thing as above. Multiply the tops. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. Circle your answer. Check your answer as your calculator. Remember, if you're going to type this into the calculator, you have to put brackets around the top and brackets around the bottom. Be careful with that. Adding fractions, subtracting all the same. 2/3 plus 1/4. I'm going to go to the right because of the way the page is designed, but again, start to go down the page. So the lowest common multiple is 12/12 plus over 12. I times the 4 by 3, and if I times the bottom by, I times the 3 by 4, and if I times the bottom by 4, I have to times the top by 4. And I times the 4 by 3, and if I times the bottom by 3, I have to times the top by 3. And 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 times 3 is 1. And 1 times 3 is 3. And simply then adding the tops, 8 plus 3 is 11. We have a lowest common denominator of 12. And again, check your answer on your calculator. Then we talked about mixed numbers to improper fractions. So if we take something like 2 and 3/5, we simply want to take the bottom number, multiply it by the number on the left, and add the top. So we're going to get 13/5. Or how many times does the bottom number go into the top? Well, it goes in 2 times with that remainder of 3 over the original denominator, being able to go back and forth between those two whenever is necessary. And then there's a few more little things at the bottom of the page, which we're just going to briefly look into. So if I take a look at a fraction x/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. Now, in later chapters, we are going to take a look more at these equations and how to work on them. But because this is such a useful method for fractions, I've put it on this page. And the method is multiply both sides by the LCD. So what's the lowest common denominator between 2 and 4? Well, the lowest number both numbers go into is 4. So I'm going to say times LCD equals 4. And when I multiply the first fraction by 4, x/2 times 4 is just 4x/2. And if I simplify that, I get 2x. And if I multiply the second fraction, 1/4 by 4, I get 1. And when I multiply the third fraction by 4, I get 3. Now below, I'm just going to say ... which means that we're going to be able to do those questions a lot simpler later. But this is just a great method to get rid of fractions when working on an equation. One more very interesting method. 3 plus 2/x all over 1 minus 2/x. Now the method is multiply the top and bottom by the LCD. Well, what's the lowest common denominator between the 3's over 1, the 1's over 1, and the 2's over x, and the 2's over x? So the lowest common denominator is x. So I'm simply just going to multiply the top and the bottom by the lowest common denominator, which is x. And when I multiply the first fraction on the top by x, 3 over 1 times x, is simply just 3x. And when I multiply the second fraction on the top by x, the x's cancel, and I just get left with 2. And when I multiply 1 over 1 by x, I just get x. And when I multiply 2 over x by x, I just get 2. And again, I'm just going to say dot, dot, dot down below. What that did is gets rid of a complex fraction into a nice, more simple fraction that you can work on. And I specifically put it in this chapter because we use these methods like lowest common denominator that we just learned how to do. So I figure, why not introduce it here? So again, a review: simplifying, dividing the top and bottom by the greatest common factor; expanding, multiplying the top and bottom by whatever you want; multiplying the fractions, multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms; dividing fractions, flip the second fraction, change to multiply; adding and subtracting fractions, get a lowest common denominator; expand the fractions, and then add or subtract the tops. When we have mixed fractions changing to improper fractions, bottom times left plus top over the bottom, and continuing, bottom goes into top, how many times, with the remainder over the original divisor. And then clearing up equations by multiplying both sides by the LCD. And then clearing up complex fractions by multiplying the top and bottom by the LCD. We use those methods all the way until grade 12. The second sheet on the website is just whole bunch of lettering, a lot of theory, a lot of the fraction work all on one page, all the theory and letters all on one page. And it actually gets into a little bit more rules like exponents and factoring down at the bottom, which we're going to be learning in the future. So that is for your leisure. So again, that's the review sheet with all of the different things that we're going to be doing with fractions for the remaining however number of years. And now on to the next chapter.